Hello everyone, this is Jinju at kimchimurray.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make Korean steamed pear, Baesuk, two ways. It's kind of a dessert when it's made a little differently, but this is more as a home remedy for coughs. So the most traditional way is you use a whole Asian pear and you cut the top off as I just did, and then you want to remove the sort of basically hollow out the center. So you want to remove the seeds but also some of the flesh around it, so we make the pear kind of into a bowl. And this part's not easy, but just be careful and remove the center out. As a kid, I always coughed a lot with colds, and then my daughter also coughed a lot. You know how after the cold is all gone, but you're still coughing for weeks? And this is what I tried for myself, and it worked great, and so I also gave it to my daughter. And to me, it works just as well or sometimes better than cough syrups. So continue to kind of remove some of the flesh with a spoon and a knife. And in my blog post recipe, I write about, there are actually scientific studies that show pears, peppercorns, honey are all in many cultures like India and China have been used as home remedies for respiratory illnesses like coughs or asthma sometimes even. So there I'm going to remove a little more, and then I'm going to fill this up with some pieces of the pear that as you see I'm doing. I'm just kind of scooping it out, but I'm leaving that in so that when we cook it, that will cook together and produce more juice. And then I'm cutting here some dried jujube dates called daechu in Korean. There's a seed in the middle, so I use a knife to just kind of cut around it. You can also use a bigger knife and use a cutting board to basically make a prettier flower, but for our purposes, I feel it's good enough to just get the flesh cut out. So I put in about 2 jujube dates, daechu, cut up in there. And then I'm going to fill it with some peppercorns. Black peppercorns are colored ones. They all work fine. So just make sure all the peppercorns are nicely tucked in there with the pieces of pear and daechu, the jujube dates. And then we're going to fill it up with some honey. So I use about a 1/3 cup here. Now, depending on the size of your pear and how much you have hollowed out, the amount of honey that you can put in will be different. Just make sure that because the honey will flow, kind of sink to the bottom pretty slowly, so make sure you wait a while to see if you see more room on top, and just fill it up a little more. Okay, so now that it's all filled up, then we're going to use a Korean cuckoo rice, pressurized rice cooker for me here. You can use Instant Pot, you can just use a regular pot, but for that you may need to do a little longer. So I put about a cup of water at the bottom, put the honey in there, top it off with a cap, with the top of the pear, and then I steamed it for 30 minutes. And here it is. See how soft it is. It's also kind of translucent, but the honey is full of peppercorn, spicy flavor, but also the pear. So try that. A couple teaspoons of that a couple times a day works great. Okay, so here's my simplified version. So I'm going to just, instead of using the whole pear, I'm just going to peel it and slice it, cut it up, like as if like you're doing apple pie right? So you just slice it, and then you cut into thinner slices, and then we are going to just put that in a pot with some honey and peppercorns and optionally jujube dates. I usually don't even do that, and it still works great for coughs. So here I have a pot, and I filled it with the pear, and I'm going to put about half cup of honey, about a tablespoon of the peppercorns, and then I'm going to bring it to boil and then simmer. And of course, yeah, cinnamon sticks are optional too. I'm just showing it to you. Again, I didn't put it in this version. So then I turn the heat on, I cover it and bring to boil. Then I lower the heat and I simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes until all the liquid syrup is kind of reduced and the pear becomes translucent. So, and you will need to kind of check and stir and adjust the fire so that it doesn't boil over. Okay, so just keep stirring and be patient, and then you'll see that it's starting to reduce there. And then you'll see that here it may seem like there's a lot of liquid, but just continue boiling for a few more minutes, and there we go. This is where we are done. So, and store that in the refrigerator, and just take a couple teaspoonfuls a day, about twice a day. Works great for like coughs that just lingers around after a cold is over. But of course, be sure to visit a doctor first. Get well. Thank you. Bye.